for their newly learned skills and end the fall semester with a splash. All right, coming up, I'm sure you get a good chuckle when I mispronounce a word. Well, learn what the most mispronounced words are in the U.S. Yeah, Brooke's already laughing. And find out why Hong Kong is halting poultry meat that come from some areas of Montana. First, here is a live look over Polson and Flathead Lake. And coming up, Chief Meteorologist Brooke Foster has your bus stop forecast. That's coming up at about 6:42 a.m. But now, time to take a coffee break.
Live from the NBC Montana studios, this is NBC Montana Today.
Good morning, Montana. I'm Jason Hurst. As you pour your coffee and make breakfast, let's get you caught up on what you missed while you were sleeping and get you ready to take on your Thursday. All right, coming up over the next half hour, a standoff in Bozeman that covered 2 days comes to a conclusion. What you need to know. How does the urban camping ban in Missoula parks impact the homeless community? We shed light on that topic. And we help you take a peek into what the land use plan may look like for Missoula's future.
Well, the time is at 6:30. We are starting out with freezing fog again this morning. There's frost on your car windshield, so you're going to need to let your vehicle warm up. To defrost that frost, you're going to have to scrape it off. 18 right now in Missoula, 24 in Kalispell, 19 in Bozeman. We're at 12 right now in Butte. Butte and Bozeman, get ready for another nice day filled with sunshine and above normal temperatures. We've got visibility less than a quarter of a mile right now in the Missoula and the Bitterroot Valley. Just like yesterday, it's going to hang around as we head through the afternoon. Not expecting a lot of mixing, but there will be some mixing as we head into the end of the week. That's because we're tracking a cold front that moves in this weekend. It's going to bring some showers into western Montana in the form of rain and snow. So valley inversions, temperatures cold today in Missoula. Will be right around 30 at 2 p.m. For Bozeman, warming up. Temperatures mid-30s by 10 a.m. You're at 46, though, as we head into that 2 o'clock hour.
We begin with a developing story out of Bozeman that was breaking news yesterday morning. That standoff started on Tuesday and was finally resolved just before 11 p.m. on Wednesday evening. Now, NBC Montana had a reporter on the scene in Bozeman. He reported flashbangs went off with more damage done to the suspect's house. Several law enforcement agencies were at the scene on Coach and 20th. Bozeman Police Chief Jim Veltkamp said he understands this is a large disturbance to the public, but he appreciated the community's cooperation.
We appreciate the community's patience. Every time we have one of these, it has a significant impact on a lot of people.
Now we'll continue to follow this story and bring you the latest information on air and online. Urban camping will soon be banned in Missoula parks after City Council updated regulations this week. NBC Montana's Jacob Owens looks into what it means for Missoula's homeless community.
Bellevue Park. It's one of the first places where some Missoula residents came together and said there should be no camping in city parks. The majority of City Council agreed Monday, but now it begs the question. Once homeless individuals starting early next year are no longer able to camp in city parks, where will they be allowed to be?
Missoula's regulations on homelessness include buffer zones limiting how close people can camp overnight near areas like schools, homes, and the river corridor. Dale Bickle, the city's chief administrative officer, says camping can still occur in these areas with the proper spacing.
There are areas along our commuter trails, for example, that would be outside of our buffer zones, and as long as you're back far enough from the trail, you are allowed to shelter overnight.
Asked for examples of these types of trails, Bickle mentioned parts of the Kim Williams Trail. He also highlighted areas with wide rights-of-way. However, Bickle did not list specific spots, saying there are a couple of wide grassy boulevards in Missoula that could be eligible.
We don't contemplate putting a map out, and our enforcement is largely complaint-driven, whether it's our members of our team in parks, for example, or public complaints.
Bickle says a new resource guide is coming, which city teams can pass out while they are enforcing the ordinance. The guide will contain information about where individuals can be and the numbers for service providers. The guides will also be available from entities like the Poverello Center's Homeless Outreach Team. Reporting in Missoula, Jacob Owens, NBC Montana.
Now, after years of work, a future land use plan for Missoula is headed for City Council. If the Missoula 2045 land use plan is adopted, it will light a path forward for the region. The plan calls for up to 27,000 homes by 2045 to meet the area's expected growth. The solution focuses on inward development and diversify housing.
This is a desirable place to be, and we know people want to come here. And so how can we try and protect what makes Missoula special and look at growth in a way that is equitable and available to as many people as possible?
A key component is updating zoning in the Garden City, highlighting a desire for a more walkable Missoula with more low-impact businesses scattered throughout the town. A public hearing is set for December 9th. Hong Kong is halting poultry, meat, and product imports from New Zealand and several areas in the United States. This comes after officials found avian flu outbreaks in several locations, including 2 domestic flocks in Missoula County. In Montana alone, 6 other counties, including Glacier, Flathead, and Park, each had a single domestic flock test positive. This fiscal year, officials also found the virus in wild birds or mammals in 16 counties. NBC Montana spoke with an expert from the Center for Food Safety.
Thailand and Cambodia have both had problems this year with H1N1, and there were restrictions placed by other countries near them.
The Center of Food Safety noted that within the first 9 months of 2024, over 63,000 tons of chilled and frozen poultry meat and about 17.2 million poultry eggs were imported from the United States. Good news for some residents in Whitefish. A 10-inch water main break is now repaired. Here's where it took place between a Whitefish Mountain Resort Village and the Base Lodge in a small parking lot along Big Mountain Road. Now, right now, officials are collecting samples for testing and remind residents the boil water advisory is still in effect. Now, customers in the lower part of the system might have air, sediment, and coordinated smells as the system comes back online. Now, we'll continue to keep following this situation. Flathead Electric Cooperative receives millions of dollars from a federal grant to mitigate wildfire risks. The cooperative will use over $2.6 million from the U.S. Department of Energy to enhance wildfire protection and resilience in local communities. Money will fund upgrades to the electric system and improve the reliability of the electric distribution system near Essex, which is constantly challenged by power outages caused by trees. Flathead Electric is one of 38 electric co-ops and rural utilities selected to receive the funding. And for more information on the grant, you can visit our homepage at NBCMontana.com. And federal officials announced $20 million is now available to improve local government's wildfire response efforts. Funding is allocated for towns with populations of 50,000 people or less and aims to help local governments purchase slip-on tanker units, which can convert trucks and other vehicles to wildland fire engines. The funding comes from the bipartisan infrastructure law, which provided a total of $50 million for the program. Up to $20 million is available during this second round of funding. Applications to receive funding must be submitted by February 26. And we now visit with Chief Meteorologist Brooke Foster, who is standing by. So I guess it's, 20 minutes till? That means one thing. Bus stop forecast, right? What are those kids dealing with right now?
You know what? This morning, kids waking up with some localized dense fog, some chilly temperatures, teens and 20s across western Montana. Fog is definitely dense in the Missoula area. That's our visibility. It's less than a quarter of a mile. We do have that dense fog advisory that's going to stay posted until around noon. As we move throughout the day today, temperatures really not going to warm up for us, because high pressure is still trapping that colder air in. 26 at lunchtime in Kalispell. We'll be at 27 in that 3 o'clock hour for Missoula bus stop forecast. 24 at around lunchtime, 29 at around 3 p.m. today. We do have those inversions and that ridge of high pressure that will remain in place through Friday. A cold front moves in this weekend. I'll tell you how it could impact your outdoor plans coming up in 10 minutes.
Both Montana and Montana State men's and women's basketball teams were in action. How did they fare? Those answers, including Grizz highlights, are coming up after the break. Plus, we get you all caught up on all the winter wildlife closures in Missoula.